Executive Director, Jeff Franco.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Franco, and I've always considered myself an idealist. And I think I got this from my father. My father is one of 12 children, the youngest and only boy. He grew up in a poor family in the Dominican Republic. And his mother was his greatest role model and advocate. And she always pushed him to embrace the idea that education could be a way for him to get out of poverty. And he embraced it. He was the only person in his family to go on to college and later on to medical school. At the age of 26, he immigrated to the United States and made that opportunity, created a future for him and for my family that was transformational. My father is now a leading interventional cardiologist at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation, and I couldn't be more proud of having him as a role model in my life. And tonight is extra special for me because my mother and father happen to be here tonight. And I want to recognize them as being tutors, mentors, and role models in my life. And they don't like attention, so as an obedient son, I'm going to ask they stand and be recognized in the front here. Thank you for everything you've done. So, my father always taught me to pay it forward, and he instilled in me at a very young age that I had a responsibility to give back to this country that had given him so much, and that I needed to help give others opportunities to succeed that had been given to him. 3.5 years ago is when I started here at City Year, and prior to City Year I worked in the private sector, mostly in consulting and international development. I worked my job, I tried to help out my fellow employees, looked out for my neighbors, and I really believed that I could make a difference in this world. Like I said, I was an idealist. And then I came to City Year. And here I learned at a whole new level what it meant to be an idealist. Not a head in the clouds crazy type of idealism, but a pragmatic idealism and the ability to get things done. For example, even before I started as executive director, I learned the inspirational story of City Year co-founders Michael Brown and Alan Casey. I don't know how many of you know the story in terms of the way City Year was founded, but to me it's incredibly inspiring. Alan and Michael met randomly at college back at Harvard. They were assigned roommates. And at Harvard they came up with this notion of starting City Year. So after finishing undergrad and going on to actually finish law school at Harvard as well, Michael and Alan turned down many prestigious offers at law firms and with judges to continue following their vision of having a City Year. Now their friends, their families, even some of their professors thought they were crazy. And to be sure, it wasn't always an easy road. But what started out as a pilot program in Boston in 1988 with 50 core members has grown to 1,700 core members, serving in 21 cities across the country. City Year literally serves thousands of students in some of our communities' hardest hit and most needing of communities and school districts. Here in Washington, D.C. alone, we serve 4,000 students in more than 11 schools. I am so thankful for pragmatic idealists like Alan and Michael. And I have the extra thrill of having Michael Brown here tonight. So I want to thank Michael for being a pragmatic idealist. So if this is the level of idealism that this organization was founded upon, you can only imagine the idealism I was seeing and witnessing from day to day when I started the job. I regularly visit the 11 schools that our core members serve, and I love to see their idealism in action. And recently I visited Brown Education Campus, which is a kindergarten through 8th grade school that our core members serve in. And I walked into the City Year room, which is a room where our core members do a lot of their one-on-one literacy and math tutoring. And it was a buzz with energy. And so my attention was drawn to one corner of the room. One of our core members, Barbara, was finishing a tutoring session with her kids. The energy that she had with these kids who were enthralled in these loud literacy games was amazing. Who thought literacy could be so fun? The kids were literally jumping up and down to try to be the first ones to guess the right word and the right spelling. And then my attention drifted to the other corner of the room, where I noticed another one of our core members, Graham, who was patiently and quietly working with one of his students, Stephen. There was a lot of commotion going on in the room, but you never would know it looking at these two. Graham was teaching a literacy curriculum to Stephen, and Stephen was hanging on his every word. The connection between the two was palpable, and I was so impressed by the focus between student and tutor. I later learned from Graham that Spanish was Stephen's first language, and that when he came to Brown, he struggled to keep up with the other students in reading. Graham even told me about struggle that he had along the way and frustration from session to session to try to get Stephen moving in the right direction. But they kept working diligently together. And the most recent standardized test that we saw, Stephen's scores ended up going up, and his confidence has skyrocketed under Graham's leadership. The school-wide data that you've been hearing about tonight also shows what Graham and his teammates are doing at Brown is making a real difference. As a matter of fact, mid-year literacy results have shown that the students that are having one-on-one mentorship from core members at all 11 of our schools are actually seeing improvements in the work and the literacy rates that they have. Specifically with Brown, 71% of elementary school students that are being tutored by our core members have either remained a proficient in literacy or have gone up an entire reading level on their standardized tests. And the middle school students that work with our core members, we have seen an 18% drop in those that were failing English or math at the beginning of the year to mid-year. So I'm so thankful for Graham and to Barbara and for the 138 other core members that serve as City Year. So the point of my remarks is not to insinuate that City Year core members are the only true idealists. Rather, it's to remind us that we can all be idealists. I was an idealist before I came to City Year, and I remain one today. Idealists come in all shapes and sizes and come from organizations big and small all across this country. The common bond we share is we envision the world as it should be, and so we put one foot, or in City Year's case, one boot in front of the other to make that vision become a reality. And we are in the middle of the two-year plan, sorry, we're in the second year of a 6-year plan to make that vision a reality. We are looking to grow to 320 core members, serving the 32 DC public schools, so that at least half of the students in DCPS that are at risk of dropping out of school will have a core member as a tutor, mentor, role model, and friend, so they can ensure that they stay in school and on track. Some people would call that crazy, but we at City Year call that possible. I guess that's what makes us pragmatic idealists. Thank you.